looking quite strong. I'm sure they will be. And BMG, we've been seeing a lot of them lately. So, and they've also been scrimming quite a lot. So, should be a great series between both these teams.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, BMG, and speaking of that, not only just scrimming and bid and whatnot, but here they are. This is they've obviously played plenty already. They're 1-3-0, and that might not look like the greatest record, but honestly, it's pretty good. It means they've split 3 series, and then they went 2-0 in another one. So they're sitting at 6 points currently. They haven't yet been swept in a series, so again, a very strong start actually here for BMG. So yeah, excited to see though about Sync. Obviously, again, it's been a while as we mentioned, and what Sync team we're gonna see here today. So not to make excuses, but yeah, when you have a break for so long, it's understandable if you're a little rusty here. But all right, we got a draft here, plenty to talk about already. So let's get into that here. The initial bands, it was Behemoth, Warbeast, Wild Soul, and Hellbringer coming out. We had Ophelia into Magnus, Pebbles into Midas, and Rhapsody coming out into Lodestone. So seems like pretty routine stuff here. Nothing out of the ordinary, I think it's safe to say here what you got.
Yeah, definitely. And Sync going with their bread and butter, Ophelia Pebbles. We know and love them for bringing the action. They're going to get that portal key onto Pebbles, and then they're going to try to get that snowball factor with the Ophelia pushing down towers. So, we know what to expect from Sync's lineup. And then BMG going with heavy tower defense heroes like Magnus and Lodestone, great with their ultimates with the AoE synergy. So we'll see if they can hold on to their towers for as long as possible and not let Sync get that snowball kicking in.
Yeah. That's, of course, important with such a lineup of the Rhapsody, the Ophelias you're getting at. Very strong combination for grouping up. Whoa! They get Salamon.
Wow, that was left all the way till fourth pick. Crazy.
Well, you see Fusion's reaction right there. Something tells me, yeah. Obviously, see, this is another issue that you have when teams are deciding to ban heroes themselves. It's this. It's a case of, oh wait, we didn't check for this specific game, and one team now picked it up. So, hey, my stance has always been the same. It's fair game as far as I'm concerned. And if they really were concerned about that, they should have actually double checked on that. But point is, they have Salamon. He is saying if we can get something else, I don't know if they're actually gonna change it here in the end or not, but. Yeah, I mean, Salamon again. He did get slightly nerfed with the Maka Brilliance change, but
Yeah.
I still think it's safe to say he is a very powerful hero. So,
Oh, definitely.
yeah.
And he really does well in these types of lineups where he gets that, he's going to get that gold boost if he does free farm with that Wish for Wealth. And then on top of that, if, as I pointed out, they get that, tower push kicking in, that's even more gold that Solomon gets. He's going to be even further ahead of BMG's carry if it gets to that. So, that's where Solomon gets really scary when he's in those push lineups, gets that even further snowball factor kicking in.
Yeah. No, it is strong. You see them actually talking about the idea. It's like, guys, you have a lot of stuns. Don't worry. I mean, yes, of course, that is a way as a lot of really any hero, having a lot of crowd-controlled stuns is important. And that would be a good way to take care of Salamon. But, yeah, so it seems like that they are keeping it. I mean, unless something drastically changes here with what they're talking about. They go Prophet, by the way, with their fourth pick. So support Prophet coming out. Not something that they've ran too often. I know you guys have some experience doing it, but they get the Prophet pick here.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen BMG play a whole lot of Prophet, but yeah, as you pointed out, yeah, it's definitely a hero that we in Complexity pick up a lot. We love that hero in the support role. It's great in team fighting lineups such as this one, so it actually makes quite a lot of sense. We'll have to see how well. I would believe Fusen would be the one playing that, so we'll keep an eye on. I'm sure he'll do quite well. It's not the most difficult of heroes, but yeah, it fits really well into this lineup, so I like the pick. And then final pick, Chipper. So another aggressive hero. Actually, I wonder if Zibe will be playing that. That is one of Zibe's signature heroes that we actually don't get to see him play a whole lot. So Zibe Chipper, perhaps?
That's true. Obviously with Zibe, when we first started seeing his name come on the scene some while ago now, the Zibe Chipper, of course, was a combination that we came to love. So, yeah, would it be fun to see that? I mean, there's no way Haxorn's playing it. Zibe's playing Salamon. I would doubt that. So they're probably just waiting for the final pick here. And then Clay's coming out with that final pick. Okay, so a little bit of
old school, a little
yeah,
bit.
somewhat
Not
old school.
not super old school, but Clanks has died off quite a bit. I did receive a couple of nerfs here and there. But yeah, I'm interested to see if this is going to be an off-lane chipper because the way Sync have drafted, they could do a number of things. They could man up, let the Solomon just solo. However, it is not always ideal to let your Solomon go 1v1. Um, so yeah, with the current makeup they have, that could potentially be an off-lane chipper. But then again, it could go anywhere depending on where they go with this Ophelia and Pebbles. Um, so yeah, excited to see if this is an off-lane chipper or not.
All right, again, Zebe, the one playing it, he is heading towards the top lane currently. Has that ward, only health potion on him and a minor totem, so looks like that's where it's ending up to be here, just from what we're seeing off the bat. So yeah, it's going to be an off-lane chipper, played by Zebe, and yeah, Chipper's not your typical off-lane hero, but has that range. The idea that he can get some harassment and some last hits even.
Yeah.
Also, the focus buffer for if he is gone on, a lot of absorption that he has, so definitely not the worst candidate for it, but not typical either.
No, definitely not. And it looks like they're going to have a secondary support Magnus who actually has a hatchet. So either he's going to be looking to jungle straight away or do a jungle pull. So that's what BMG is looking at right now. So yeah, Chipper, if he is more of in like a 1v1 against the Clanks, he will do quite well because he is a very strong laner. And Clanks he's an okay laner, but he's not nearly as strong as a Chipper. Uh,
Yeah.
and we do have Prophet up here as well. So yeah, I'm expecting a jungle pull from Magnus, and they'll just let the Midas go 2v1 against the Pebbles lane. Or actually, Rhapsody is rotating bottom, so it will be a one-on-one for now, and Lodestone will be the one being two-on-one. That's good because Lodestone can definitely contest the Solomon. He's very strong in the lane, whereas Solomon isn't quite as strong until he gets that level 6. And Rhapsody she is a very solid boxing support. So Lodestone actually going to pull the wave here. It's a very good job by Boxy. Guarantee that he gets that level 2, that first wave.
Pretty important. You see, Rhapsody is going to come over and harass and use those staccato stuns at least a little bit, but in the end, it's not going to be enough. How about that right there, by the way? Using the rocket drill to block the spawn. The 30-second
really?
spawn. Yeah, while he was running away, he's like, oh, I'm going to block that spawn real quickly. And then he kept running. I mean, that was beautiful. It's just like a small thing like that. Yeah. So Salomon gets to take it here instead.
The more important thing is it's not so much to block Ophelia having that camp, but more so Solomon not able to pull his own creep wave into that camp. So he has to use the pull camp, which obviously isn't going to give as much golden experience. But yeah, that's a heads up play for sure by Boxy. And so with Rhapsody being bottom, that means Pebbles and Midas get to go at it one-on-one, and that means Midas gets to have a good time. Whereas if Rhapsody was here, guaranteeing that Pebbles free farm, Pebbles would have, he would have a much better time. So Midas is going to have a much better time as a result of this being a one-on-one scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would expect that here. So Maki, in fact, you see the pressure. He's playing it pretty aggressive already. And again, something that couldn't happen if Rhapsody was here in this lane. Speaking of Rhapsody, at the bottom lane, of course, as we've gone over, Lodestone, he is going to be fine here. He does have the plates hitting level 2. That's what we're talking about, so he's able to tank up a little more effectively at least. But Rhapsody's going to do his part to really keep him guessing, keep him harassed, and eventually having to use the rocket drills to get away. So, yeah, Salomon is having the absolute free farm as you would hope for, but it's a matter of Boxy more so. Just make sure not to die in the end. Get that experience, not die, of course. Is the
well, that's so big. Ophelia gets the bottom rune, which is a region. Lodestone got that. He could go straight back to bottom lane as if he wasn't pressured at all. But Slap doing a nice job of rune control there, making sure Lodestone has to go all the way back to base because he does not have anywhere near close to mana for another rocket drill, so it is not safe for him to be bottom. That's a nice job by Zlap there.
Yeah, no, very good timing right there on his part for sure. And definitely, you see Boxy, he's heading all the way back to base because of that. So yeah, it really is, again, these minor things that you may think about, like, that you don't really think about. I'm glad you're pointing it out because, if he was able to get that, then he goes back to the lanes that you're talking about, and then he's still getting experience. So, yeah, it's definitely solid play for sure. And again, the timing there from Slap to make sure to grab it before the Lodestone. Chipper, how is he doing at the top lane? I mentioned, maybe going to be all right. He is still alive, of course. Has no bloodlust kill just yet. He's level 3 when Strider's here, actually, early on. So going to help with his roam. Zibby likes to do that. He's heading towards mid, actually, as we say this. But Pebbles just used his combo. Didn't even catch that there, but Minus is actually fine, so not sure. I don't know if you caught that middle, but if he just missed or if it's just simply not nearly enough damage, I guess. But
I've actually been keeping a little bit of an eye on Magnus. He did a jungle pull, as we pointed out, and he is level 4. Actually, he was the top farmer on his team, but now Clank's sitting in the lane did just overtake him. But he is level 4, so he's doing a really nice job. Gets the bottle already, so he's going to have his boots in about 100 gold. And they were working on stacking this hard camp, but Zibby did a nice job of body blocking it from the under the river side. So yeah, so that jungle pull does give a little bit of extra experience to Chipper, thus we see him being level 3. So there is that little small downside of the jungle pull, but definitely worth it for Magnus for sure.
yeah.
So yeah, he's able to pick up his Striders, as you pointed out, quite early, able to move a little bit between mid and top where he feels necessary.
See the rune control here. Again, slapped on top of it. He's protecting it, making sure buying the time for Pebbles to come over and bottle it up.
Yep.
I also saw Chipper protect the top rune. Again, Seek, as you would expect, very on top of that rune control in general. And really making it a priority here to get said runes.
Yeah, and the 4, I believe the 4 and the 6-minute runes are 2 of the most important runes, because now Pebbles has his levels up, and that's the best rune Pebbles can get as a haste, the next one being an invis. But now it's, Pebbles has a haste, the next 2 minutes, everybody has to play sort of passively, because if they do go for something, there's always that threat of Pebbles rotating over. He could pick up a TP with his next 100 gold if he chooses to, and then, he could be in any lane at any time. So it's always scary when you get that 4 to 6 minute haste rune on a hero like Pebbles.
You see right here, it's activated, and you got Midas sitting back, playing it pretty passive. He knows that if he does get caught in a combo, perhaps some support coming over, save that Ophelia, and could be that bloodlust kill. So yeah, Make being somewhat safe here, and in the end, the haste rune not going to unfortunately be a whole lot out of it for Mickey playing the Pebbles. So Chipper, where's he going? He's going to the jungle over here. Going to maybe try to fight a low-level Magnus or a low-life Magnus, but not really the case. It's more than fine, so just going to throw out some rockets and then fall back. But Clanks, haven't really addressed him too much, but he is obviously doing very well because of that. 375 gold per minute. It's gone some early build up here. Again, Clanks, this is why he's also interesting because, one of his big drop-offs, a little bit of nerfs, but then the item changes kind of threw everything off a little bit. So, I want to say we even saw some Elder Parasite when he was still being played a little bit with the changes, so I don't know what to expect here.
Yeah, I think there's a couple choices that he has, but it's not the routine Thunderclaw anymore. He could go something like straight into Firebrand, and then just look to work on jungle stacks, or something, as you pointed out, like an Elder Parasite. But yeah, I don't think the Thunderclaw is necessarily 100% guaranteed anymore. It does cost quite a lot, and the very big downside, I would say, to something like the Thunderclaw is you can't upgrade it into anything, which I think is one of the biggest reasons why we're not going to be seeing a lot of carries picking that up, or range carries specifically, rather. But yeah, I'm not personally a big fan of the Thunderclaw anymore.
See over here, he's taking a nice little stack with some profit assistance here. So, middle lane actually. Pebbles getting low, but the focus buffer going up. Go for the turn kill now. Magnus, he's gonna start feeling some pain. Gets chucked to Rhapsody. The staccato stuns, and that will be a bloodlust in favor of Mickey. So it looks like he actually kind of caught that as it was happening, but they were trying to go into Pebbles, of course, and he did get fairly low, but Chipper perhaps getting there in time. Also the bottle charges that he had, anyways, was able to survive, able to get the turn kill, and ultimately the bloodlust. And meanwhile, bottom tower going down in favor of Salomon pushing it here. So obviously, especially with a very passive game here early on, very important couple of events finally happening here in favor of Sync now.
Yeah, and this is it's already a 3,000 gold lead for Sync, so we'll have to see in the next couple of minutes if BMG can keep it at around this mark, or if it's going to start to slowly get a little bit more and more in favor of Sync as we progress. BMG is putting a little bit of pressure on tier 1 top, we did have Lodestone up there for quite a bit, but now with the lane pushed, he has rotated back bottom, so
Oh.
I don't think that they'll continue pushing
Oh
middle
man,
lane.
Pebbles getting low again, but the Ophelia's touch helping to keep alive, and one more auto attack. I don't know if he's going to be able to get in range though. Yeah, he's not going to be able to, and now Magma stuns in the Lion's Pride to finish off Mickey. So Make right there, that was so close, living line from the edge, but they do indeed get the kill on Pebbles. So close to being a turn kill, but you know, that will obviously tie it up at 1 kill apiece now between the two teams. Lowstone bottom is going to be fine for now. Chipper and Rhapsody are coming over, however. And Salomon, of course, does have that ultimate. Will he look to use it and initiate? Here's the question. Kind of feels like that's going to happen any second here. And no, he's going to rocket drill. So didn't want to waste the ulti cooldown and maybe not get a kill in the end. So chose to play it safe there.
Yeah, I think they want the Rhapsody stun to come out first, guaranteed that they don't waste the Solomon ulti. Because if they don't get a kill with it, then Solomon won't always be safe sitting here in the bottom lane this far up. Top tower does go down in favor of BMG, so that's going to close that gold gap a little bit, only to about 1,000. So that's pretty good as of right now.
Yeah, you see, only 1,000 lead. I mean, especially with the Bloodlust kill coming out for Sync, having Salomon, it really feels like that the lead would have actually been a bit more at this point. But yeah, only seeing 1,000, you know, even somewhat a little bit under is pretty impressive for the side of BMG. And, you know, looking at the GPM chart, it does give you a better story of how that maybe is the case. Again, Clanks not beating Salomon. You wouldn't expect that, of course, but he is doing very well himself. Can't let that skew, you know, can't overlook it because of that. And minus, of course, 325 gold per minute. He's not doing too shabby over here as he's currently at the bottom. Going to push that out now. Another 1,300 gold saved up on him. So portal key timing's going to get to that point of, well, let's start taking a look at that at least. And minus is right now the closest for sure. He is kind of rushing it in a sense, going right into Striders, into the Blood Chalice, and definitely going to be getting the PK next, though. So other than that, Pebbles, he still has a bit of ways to go, but again, he went plenty of build-up here, including even the Mystic Investment.
And I believe Solomon's bought something. Now, I'm not 100% sure whether it's still better to go Mock, since it's been reverted back to magic damage, over something like the Rune Cleaver, which we used to see as the more popular pick on Solomon. But he has spent his gold on something, just hasn't flown on anything yet. So I want to say he's bought a Sword of the High, because he is very high GPM and only sitting on 1,000 at the moment. So could potentially be a Mock in the next 200 or so.
See, that's a really interesting point you're bringing up there, because exactly, like, it's not like Salomon changed as a hero. It's the only reason we all of a sudden saw the explosion of this hero was the Mock. Like, that's what changed, and that's what made people realize, or whatever, to start playing it in the combination. So now with it going back to the original Mock, as he will go to the as pointing out there, but it is kind of funny to me that it's still now seen as like, it's like almost like it was overlooked initially, is basically what this means. By the competitive community, where they didn't realize that, oh wait, Mock is actually really good on this hero, whether it's magic damage or true damage in the end. So I find that interesting.
And my thought process behind the two items is I think Mock is going to be pretty good in this game, because we have a lot of initiators and heroes that are going to want to pick up portal keys on the side of BMG's side. So as long as Solomon's, you know, always in the front line kind of causing disruption for the initiators, then I think it's a really good pickup. However, I want to say that Cleaver is a little bit better at the moment than Mock, but, you know, time will tell.
Yeah.
You know, whether one's better than the other in the end.
See, that's another way to look at it. Yeah, it could also be a case of, yes, that revert happened, but people have been using this Mock Salomon combination for so long, and they're kind of now sticking with it. So,
right.
I definitely see what you're saying there, and I think you could definitely argue that, Rune Cleaver is probably could be the better way to go. But, you know, he gets the Mock ability. It's obviously still a great farming tool and a great item in itself. The fact that he's able to get it with the timing he did is kind of the important thing, really. And you see him taking out some stacks right here, even. So, yep, starting to jump up now as far as that GPM goes. Oh, there's a portal key, though, on Make, playing Midas. So, see if any opportunities could possibly happen here. And Pebbles, though, is 1,700 gold saved up, so he, too, is actually getting there. Pretty close now. So the
and Magnus is getting quite near his portal key as well, has the Striders, so it doesn't have a whole lot of build-up, but needs about another 600 himself, and he's, been sitting in the jungle a little bit. Doesn't have the most flashy GPM because I think he was trying to make some plays early on, but yeah, he's going to have his quite soon as well, so once they have both the Midas and the Magnus portal keys, that'll be really good for BMG.
Yeah.
This tower, it looks like, is going to go down uncontested in the middle lane.
Yeah, I like the positioning there from Zlap, too, with the skeleton minis, up in front, just really making it clear that if you try to deny this tower, we're going to catch you, so no point to even attempt it there. Just simply let it fall. So, yeah, there's that portal key on Pebbles now being delivered, and, he doesn't actually have it in his inventory yet. I wouldn't be surprised that the Hellborn team is probably suspicious of possible timing here, but we'll see if Mickey can maybe find said opportunity to make a kill happen with it.
They should know because 3 tower kills, they've only got 1 death on Pebbles. It's about 14 minutes now. This is about the timing Pebbles would pick it up, even being in a one-on-one scenario where he's got quite good creep farm, 85 CS. So yeah, they should expect him to have it by now. So they're already like 4 people in the Hellborn jungle together, kind of all close by. So they kind of, they're not playing spread out where they can get picked off necessarily.
Mm-hmm. You see Maki there at the bottom, just farm pushing it out a little bit and then quickly falling back. If he stayed there for a couple more seconds, they were definitely looking to collapse on him, but and he's a little bit too safe there. So, maybe as expected. I mean, kind of yes and no. What I'm getting at is that it's been fairly passive here. Obviously it reflects in the hero kills, only 1-1, now 14.5 minutes. But we are hitting that moment now with the portal key on either side. This Ophelia Rhapsody lineup definitely has that idea they want to kind of start grouping up here and pushing. So I would expect we could start getting some action here very shortly. In fact, middle lane. Are they going to go Pebbles? No, it doesn't look like it, actually.
It's risky because they have a haste on him, and they also have the Ophelia who can ulti at any point in time. So it's a really tough kill to get at the moment. He's a very tanky hero. So yeah, it's smart for on BMG's side to not go for something like that.
Yeah. As we see here, though, Sync is starting to push out now, get some aggressive wards down. So, yeah, that phase of the game, the entering that middle phase of the game is definitely starting to take place here. In fact, you see Clank's top lane. He's realizing he has to fall back. Was that a Resto Stone that I just saw? I think, yeah, he has it finished, doesn't he? Jeez.
15 minutes. It very well could be. He's 750 gold per minute. I would not be surprised. I believe with this kind of farm.
Top lane, they're actually engaging up here. Yeah, Ophelia getting bursted down right off the bat. Pebbles going for a nice turn, though. He gets killed to Magnus as well as Lodestone, but he falls shortly after. Tackles Rhapsody. Here's Salamon, though. The rest of Stone being delivered mid-fight. That is huge. Clanks, he's going to barely escape initially. Can he keep his distance? The rocket's coming out. You just need to land one and maybe a leap even. There's the rocket, and nice there's rocket. The kill. Yeah, Balthazar, that was such a tough escape right there. He wasn't getting away from that one. So, well, finally a big fight breaks out, a first one of the game, really, and I mean, we're actually still tied in hero kills, so it wasn't even exchanged there, but I think Sync got the better of that.
Yeah, it was looking okay for BMG until Salomon got there. They actually were ahead by 1 or 2 kills. They actually started the fight really well, but then once Salomon got there, a lot of damage coming out from that bot, forcing Clanks to just run the entire time. Eventually ran him down with Chipper, so yeah, once Salomon got there, too much for them to handle. And they're going to get a tier 1 out of this as well. They still have 1 more ulti ready to go on the Salomon, so they probably won't even stop what they're doing. They have, Ophelia has, well, she has at least 1 minion, so they're going to take control of this side of the map. They do have a very aggressive ward play, so if they do, if BMG does come into the jungle here, they will try to look to punish them.
Yeah. See, pushing out over here, you got Lodestone. He's definitely setting up as if they maybe want to make an engagement coming out. Clanks, he's going to sit on the cliff. Pretty confident they don't have a ward up here as, well, they have the rev ward down, so yeah, good reason for that. So he is going to keep scouting here at least and maybe wait for somebody to be left behind. And, they see middle lane, yeah, with the people at the top lane too. They know they have an opening here. They're going to jump on a Pebbles. Rhapsody is nearby. Wait for that protective melody. No, they'll need to stop it eventually. It's not going to be in time. Down goes Pebbles. And now Serenia in trouble herself. She actually did try to ultimate there. Got canceled immediately, apparently. I didn't even see the animation, but it went on cooldown. And that's 2 deaths right there. So, yeah, very smart heads up there by BMG, realizing that they were split up as they were. takes advantage.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by Sync's positioning there. They chose to be split in both the top and the middle. But yeah, really heads up play by BMG recognizing that and then going for the pick off onto Pebbles, seeing as how he didn't have a haste rune this time. So it wasn't as safe as he was before. It's a good heads up play by BMG.
Got the middle now. Here comes Salomon with the aura use, and it's pretty impressive. Old attack speed buff and easy tower kill there. Shortly after.
Yeah, so now Sync has claimed all the outer towers by 18 minutes. They're gonna have a lot of map control as the game progresses with all these towers, so it's gonna be really tough for BMG. They're gonna have to have a couple of really good team fights to fight their way back into this one, since Solomon is 850 gold per minute at the moment, only with 1 kill involvement too. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, that actually is. So yeah,
it makes Clanks look like he's not farming well at all, but he is nearing 500 gold per minute, which is very impressive for 18 minutes as well. Baltazar's done, pretty well himself, 3-1 and 2, but this looks kind of not as impressive when compared to Solomon.
That's one of the definitely the bigger things that is frustrating having a Solomon in the game, especially as a spectator, because it really
Everybody's
does.
so low on the plateau, but in reality they're all relatively doing quite well.
Exactly. If he was not in this game, it would look much more impressive for BMG. But again, that's what's important to keep in mind, is that it is still impressive from BMG. As you mentioned, Clank's nearing 500 GPM, very good point to be at. He is continuing to farm here at the top lane. They're going to come for him though, so Baltazar will need to pour it away, and it looks like he is going to do so, and he will be fine. But doing a good job of really keeping Sync, moving. I will say, Sync obviously has all 6 towers down as far as the outer towers go. Oh, Lodestone, by the way. He avoids Pebbles right there. Portal Key just in time to escape.
Now.
Those reactions, though, yeah, very good reactions from Boxy there. That is a good point. I think he did see him with the word of sight. Getting called out there. But yeah, you see the Shrunken Head on Salomon, another 2,300 gold saved up, so really just doing this traditional build here. Definitely the Sheep Stick, very likely possibility of that, even the Portal Key. Really strong combination of items.
Yeah, he's got the entire shop at his disposal at this point. He hasn't been stopped, and it's going to continue that way as the game progresses. So yeah, basically the entire shop is at his disposal at this point. Whatever he chooses to go for is the question.
Middle lane, Lodestone setting up. Has a Portal Key. Nope, not going to make a play though. Deciding it's best to fall back. Doesn't have the team support nearby, of course, so not going to make a play there. Bottom tower will go down, so you see the initial tower is now taken out in favor of the Hellborn side. Pebbles he's roaming into several heroes. Lodestone going to jump in on him, and Pebbles, he's going to drop really quickly right there. Ophelia's touch was used. Obviously not nearly enough, though. Prophet off to the side does have that shared fate down, but no follow-up, obviously. So he gets taken out and ends up being a 1-for-1, but I think BMG still pretty satisfied. That exchange right there.
Anytime they can get little skirmishes, little exchanges like that, BMG will gladly take them. Trade in the Prophet for the Pebbles, who was farming close to 400 GPM. So, that's a really good trade for them. They get almost like a net of almost 200 gold for the kill, as well as that's Pebbles being dead. So good exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, Magnus here, a little bit scared to farm up this middle lane. I mean, there's a ward aside actually, and a pretty good placement from Serenity here middle. Sees Magnus kind of going back and forth, so if he's not careful, they definitely could jump him. But still in the spot right now, at least, where he should be fine there. Yeah, Chipper, I haven't really mentioned too much about Zivier and Chipper. But yeah, 3-0-1, still hasn't been killed himself, obviously very good. And he's got a Staff of the Master, actually. Just about finished, that is. So needs, 200 more gold now. And yeah, he will be picking that up. And, it is a very, very strong tool. The fact that it slows through Shrunken Heads, it's a great teamfight engagement ability. And especially for something like that Clanks, who's maybe going to try to fly away. Of course, put the chainsaws down and keep him slowed. At least that's the idea. So, Frostus Cold, wow, on Salomon here. All right.
So he goes Frostus. Okay, so he's going to be quite tanky now. Even with just 2,000 life. He's got to, they got to cut through the 2 ultis, which have 2,300 each. So, it's almost like he has upwards of 6,000 to 7,000 HP if he gets the 2 ultis off. So it's a lot of HP they have to go through at the moment if he does get those off. But yeah, so they do have a lot of escapes on the Hellborn side, so that could be a factor for the chainsaws. However, once they are down, if they are sitting in those chainsaws, it's a lot of damage, and they're going to be stuck in there with that. I think it's like a 90% slow or something. It's ridiculous. Staff of the Master is very good on Chipper, so I like it.
Yeah, I don't know if it actually says. Oh, it does say 90 and a
I think it's
tapering
90.
90%.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculously high. It feels like you can't move.
Yeah.
So, and that on top of if he gets the tar toss, which he's actually skipped in this game because he is against quite a lot of magic damage. So not gonna have the tar toss just yet, but.
Oh, more engagement over here. Rhapsody kind of figuring she's dead anyways. Kind of goes back in, says, take me, no one else. Mickey decides he wants to make a play, though. And now he's in trouble. To get the kill to Loso, but at what cost there? He goes down shortly after. The eruption from Magnus. And Baltazar ends that with a hat trick in the end. A 3-for-1 exchange in favor of BMG. The obvious thing here is that BMG, they're coming out on top of these exchanges, these fights here where Salamon's not involved. You know,
Yeah.
that's 100% what we're seeing here. Is when Salomon joins the party, saw a little bit in the earlier fight, then all of a sudden, okay, Sync's looking really good. But they've kept on getting a couple of catches without him, and that's to their benefit.
Yeah, and you could fault Sync to some degree, but you also gotta credit BMG for recognizing when Sync isn't grouped together as 5, and they're taking these opportunities when they can, and they're coming out on top, capitalizing really well. So you gotta credit BMG. They're recognizing these opportunities that they have, and they're taking them, and it's causing them to hang around in this game, even though it looked like Sync was gonna take maybe an early win with the lead they've had. But yeah, BMG doing a really nice job.
24.5 minutes in, and again, kind of going back to that conversation of Salomon in the game always kind of dwarfs the others as far as the GPMs, especially. But it's another thing to keep in mind is that yes, having a goal lead is good, but that's a big part of it. As Salomon's sitting at 920 goal per minute, they have an 8,400 goal lead. So yes, Sync's in the lead in that sense, but they kind of have to weight that a little bit differently than your average game, really. So. Yeah, BMG, I really think in a lot of ways is feeling really good, and as they should be, but it does come back to, however, Salomon, we are getting to just about that point where he is going to kind of hit that peak. And yeah, Sync, sure, it's a great play from BMG, maybe some question from Sync of not really grouping up as much as they should, but that's going to happen when he now gets this full inventory. I mean, he is sitting with the token for another 2 minutes, so
yeah,
you could argue that they should be looking to now make a push into the base even in these next couple of minutes here, but it honestly doesn't look like that they're going for that, unless he post-hates top or something. But
yeah, I was just going to mention he picked up the post-haste, almost kind of like okay guys, I can join you now because I have this. So, but yeah, something that we don't want to overlook is that whenever you do play against these grouping up type of lineups, experience is a really big factor because obviously Sync's lineup, they want to be grouped up, so they're going to be leveling a lot less because they're grouped up. So it's very important that BMG is ahead in experience, because experience actually I think matters a little bit more than gold at this point. It is a 10,000 gold lead, which 10,000 gold is a lot of gold, but you got to look at it, it's all on the Solomon at this point. It really falls off from there. Only Pebbles is over 300 GPM, and at this point in the game I think it should be a lot higher on the supporting cast, but that's the credit to BMG. We might have a team fight here. Sync pushing high ground with the token.
For the first time, again, big difference. Salomon is with him now. He takes a good amount of damage off the bat there, dropping him nearly half life, but he has the token, he has the Resto Stone, he has those ulti forms, so gotta, really keep that in mind, as I'm sure they are here on BMG, that although he may be getting low as a hero himself, there's still a lot of factors that come into play that doesn't mean that they can go for the kill necessarily. In fact, focus buffer, just another thing to worry about. Chipper applying that here on Salomon, some good absorption from that. So I'm going to continue pushing in once the creep wave's there. You see, Hellborn did a pretty good job, though, of counter pushing. I mean, they definitely got some decent counter push. Of course, Might is fantastic for that. You see Magnus and Lodestone constantly stunning through and falling back. So BMG, I mean, they are holding pretty efficiently here. And I think they are going to get Sync to fall back, actually. Only 10 seconds on the token. Oh,
yeah, this token more than likely will not be used, and that's really good if you're BMG.
Oh, there we go again. Oh, Pebbles is like, we got to make a play, though. Now, again, token is going to wear off here on Salomon. He pops his ultimate, though. Gets a quick kill in the background on Magnus. Lodestone dead as well. Protect a Melody. just in case back here. There's the Rosa Stone from Salomon. He's not going to jump into Clanks. Clanks feeling the pain. He does have that wing bow, some evasions perhaps, but it's not going to be enough, and he does not have a buyback. That is a superb kill, of course, in favor of Sync Esports. But Salomon, has he overextended? It's a question. He is in trouble. Never mind. Gets the team support. Hacks her in with a hat trick, and now they're going to go back for the tower and the rack. So it got a little close there at the end, but it wasn't enough, and Sync is going to break through now.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, actually Pebble's going to go further. Can they get Midas? Yeah, he's going to go down. Big eruption coming out.
Oh my gosh, yeah, a lot of eruption damage. Salomon getting very low as pause coming out from the Hellborn team. The fun BM there. Yeah, so it's not going to be a kill, obviously, though. I mean, Magnus is now going to be in trouble himself, and he'll probably fall here, too. What was the buybacks like? Yeah, the 3 buybacks there. It's not going to be diebacks.
I want to say Magnus had buyback. Actually, maybe he just got it because he's sitting on 12 gold. But the biggest thing that I noticed was Magnus went down. You know, he still had the eruption up, but he actually has the only utility item on his team at the moment. So if they were able to tablet, you know, Magnus being dead, no tablet available. If they were able to tablet Clanks away from Solomon when he used that second resto, potentially could have turned the team fight once that second ultimate wore off. But obviously, once that Shrunken Head is down for Clanks, he's kind of like a sitting duck, even though he has the wing bow. Not very tanky, only sitting at 1150 life. So that's kind of the biggest problem for BMG at the moment, is they have to be able to kite through the Solomon ultis, because if they're fighting into them, he's going to do so much damage, as we saw. You know, that's where Sync takes the fight. But no Cyclone or Storm Spirit picked up on BMG's side, and only 1 tablet. So once Magnus is dead, they don't have that save for Clanks. That's kind of like the biggest thing that I noticed.
And another thing I'm kind of, to add to that a little, because that is a great point there, is their support choice. The Prophet isn't necessarily this saving support. He's much more of an aggressive support. And as you're getting at, you usually want more of that Andromeda, the Monarch, the Martyr. You want the support that's really going to be able to save Clanks. Pearl, you know, could have arguably been great, things like that. So, yeah, they did pick up Clanks last, but you got to figure like that was in their mind at least when they were thinking of their support with the 4th pick. So, yeah, that is another thing to look at there.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I think Midas looks like he wants to go for a sheep stick. However, realistically, can he get that before Sync, you know, threads the needle and pushes in your base? Probably not. So I think looking back at it, we should have seen something like a Storm Spirit as the follow-up to the Portal Key. Try to be able to save Clanks when he gets jumped on. If you can time that to where Solomon when he leaps on you, that could have potentially saved Clanks. So maybe perhaps just swap out that Acolyte stuff for a Cyclone. Could have potentially turned that team fight.
Huh. You know what? I'm actually being informed of this, and I'm checking it out for myself and confirming it. That's pretty cool, actually. I'm getting it here. Sync, this match here, I don't know how much they plan to cast here today, but apparently the Thailand scene over there, their official YouTube channel, that they actually stream through YouTube, of course, instead of Twitch, but they're actually streaming this match, and it has 5,700 views right now over there. Thailand loves their Han.
Awesome.
Man. So yeah, that's that is really cool to see. So shout out to the Thailand Han scene over there, checking it out. Magnus getting picked off though, as we expected, coming back from the pause here, and again that is going to be a Rax kill in the end. So they could probably keep this going. I mean, Clanks is 10 for another 20 seconds. Magna number 45. Yeah, they're definitely going to keep this going. In fact, Midas, he's going to get caught right away.
He goes down.
That's another dieback there. Prophet, probably going to be the same story for him. Yep. That should probably look to do it here for... maybe not. I guess they are going to hang in and figuring, okay, we still got to very farm Clanks ourselves, but man. They have to deal with the lot. Salomon getting low, but Lodestone going to fall first. Good support there. He actually almost had a chance.
Yeah, he got every spell off, so just too tanky. Might have gotten Astral Leap as well from Ophelia, I believe, was just used. So yeah, just a little bit too tanky, fortunately. But yeah, if BMG had been able to hold out that one team fight top, we could still have a pretty good game, potentially even swinging in favor of BMG. But Sync just a little bit too strong at the moment. With he actually broke the 1,000 goal per minute mark.
Yep.
So impressive, but yeah. So scary.
Though? Is it so impressive?
Oh, come on, it is.
It is. It still is. I mean, yes, it's obviously Yes, this hero farms like crazy compared to others, but still, even breaking that 1,000, I mean, it's only been done several times, so yeah, it's always fun to see the 4 digits pop up of a 1,011 GPM
And
number.
before hacks and all chats,
Yeah.
wrong vote again.
Wrong vote.
Oxy crash. But yeah, come on, Breaky. He's 3-0 and 8, hasn't died. He's playing really well.
It is. No, not to take away from him, but yeah, it is Salomon at the same time. It is Salomon. What did he buy there? Did he rebuy the Shrunken?
Bought a sheep stick. I don't think he had that
Oh,
actually.
that's a good point.
But
Actually.
maybe I'm trying to think back if he had a top.
No, he did not.
I don't think he did because
No.
he's only sitting on 2,000 gold. They took the racks, middle tower. Yeah. Um. So yeah, the question is, what does he do with this gold now? 'Cause
Yeah.
he's pretty much item capped. Can't buy sheep stick couriers anymore. I'm sad about that. I used to love
Yeah.
sheepstick couriers with puzzle boxes and codexes.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't get to see that very often, of course. It's a very, very rare thing, but it was cool the time we
90-minute
did.
complexity games that we saw it.
Yeah, and having those chances there. So, yeah, that is kind of an interesting thing about, like, when you do have all this goals, like, what do you do now if you're Salomon here?
He has to go feed twice and buy back, and then they finish.
Yeah.
Yep, just so he uses his gold.
Yeah. What is
But
it?
yeah, to your point, there's nothing he can really buy outside of rebuying Shrunken, which it's at 9 seconds anyway, so there's really no point to rebuying it. So yeah, really nothing he can do with his extra gold at the moment other than use a buyback.
Yeah. All right, so Boxy reconnecting again. I guess some modding issue. I don't know what he's talking about, but hopefully when he comes back here, should be able to stay in the game now. Continue on, but yeah, obviously the cast around Salamon's a big thing too, especially from that fight of what happened there. I mean, you see all the gold, 3,000 on Chip versus the Chipper that just barely was able to get a staff of the master, which is good. But now he's gonna have another item on top of that. So, oh no, there you go. Post ace actually is what he likes here. You have of course the Storm Spirit now on Pebbles to go with that Shrunken and Portal Key. Ophelia must have bought something. Yeah. Oh wow, staff of the master.
Staff of the master. I like the effect on it, by the way. If you look at his hero, it looks pretty cool. His I don't know what you.
Like
I call it
orbs
like as a
flying
staff or whatever. It's like green. It's
Yeah,
pretty sick looking.
That's cool.
But yeah, the biggest thing. So we don't see staff of the master that often on Ophelia, as Maki gets picked off in the bottom lane. Biggest thing about staff is that it reduces the cooldown to 30 seconds, and it's originally 2 minutes. So cuts the cooldown in half.
Well,
Or excuse me,
plus
in quarter.
it's like it makes it 25%,
bad
right?
math.
So, yeah,
Excuse
basically
me,
makes it,
one quarter of the original.
Yeah, I was like, half.
I'm gonna get flamed for that one, but yeah, yeah, it's 30 seconds, so he can throw out 400 HP heal to everybody. It's actually a really nice tool to have. It's just a matter of we don't get to see it that often because there's just some items are a little bit better. It's more of a luxury item. Magnus going in with the ulti.
All right, you gotta think this is a bit of a last stand right here. Salomon pops his ultimate and goes in. Lodestone and Prophet are dead off the bat. There goes Magnus, and okay, the Gazebo comes out. So, yeah, they figured they would give it at least one more fight. I mean, they were only down 1 Rax right there, so understandable, but it's clear that it was just a little too much of a lead at that point. And Sync pulling through victorious. So, yeah, I mean, it took a little bit to get that game going there, and it really did feel like BMG. I mean, they played it very well early on. Again, from their movement early and them taking advantages of they being spread out a little bit too much from Sync, and they were in a good spot. But Salomon was the constant, very positive, as he tends to be in a lot of ways for Sync, and he did not slow down one bit, and he finished over 1,000, right? Yeah.